to start shutting down here shortly. This is Zach and Jenny Richmond here. There are people that, well, may have had good intentions, but just didn't have any follow through. This is Dallas Richmond. I suppose I should start off with the important stuff. We'll start off here. Come on. All right, we'll read these as they are. Actually, this one is not a good one. Parts of it are. So I guess we'll zoom in real quick. Believe. False reporting is very rare, yet survivors face doubt and blame from others. Believe survivors and tell them so. Listen. Let the survivor choose when they want to talk and how much they want to share. Don't offer judgment or analysis. Instead, validate their experience. Most of that comes down to shutting up at some point. Not telling them over and over things like this. It says, say things like, I'm so sorry. You are not alone. It's not your fault, and how can I help? It's not often helpful to share your own feelings about it. Now here's the thing, out of all these are all icebreakers. You say them once. After that, you listen. You don't keep on saying this throughout the whole thing unless it's a 5-year-old or a woman. For guys, we really need you to actually listen. Not all women are able to communicate this way either. There's lots of people who are autistic. They're men or women. And most of us have to high mask. Number 3 here, support with words. No, most of this is useless, and this has actually been removed from a lot of the handbooks that we have on it, because this actually pushes people to commit self-harm. I'll say it that way because it's the nicest we can. Respect privacy. If a survivor trusts you enough to tell you their story, don't tell anyone else. The exception, minors, disabled, or elderly people in at-risk situations. Like I said. Okay. Recognize boundaries. Sexual violence. Now, this isn't just for sexual violence, just so you know. Many of the same things, but it says sexual violence can ruin a person's sense of safety, and I have had to endure sexual violence. It says provide a safe space for a survivor, such as giving alone time or asking before making physical contact. But people don't provide a safe place for us. The more different we are, the more you deny us. It says advocate. There's a lot of misunderstanding about sexual violence. There's also a lot of misunderstanding about violence against at-risk adults. It says educate yourself about the facts and help inform others by sharing what you've learned. Now, the reason that the sexual violence stuff is so important is because of the types of abuse that we endure as disabled people, as adults and children. It says there's a lot of misunderstanding about sexual violence. Educate yourself about the facts and help inform others by sharing what you've learned. How many people actually tried that? How many promised that they would? It says recognize barriers. Survivors face difficulties when reporting assault, seeking legal advice, getting medical support, and talking about the trauma. Knowing this can help. Talking over us when we're able to speak is the wrong thing to do, just so you know. Support decisions. You can provide information and options for the survivor, but let them make their own decisions so they can regain a sense of control and empowerment. Now, that's not what I get. People want to talk me out of turning in my predators. They want to talk me out of this right here, this decision, the decision to turn in my abusers. No one has been actually supportive of this. Says stay connected, even if the sexual violence a while ago, the pain can still exist. Check in to remind them you still care about them and believe in them, and believe them. And it says donate. It says give money and volunteer time to organizations working to support survivors and prevent sexual violence. Encourage others to do so as well. I encourage you to help out the survivors themselves. If you're going to send them to one of these places for help, go with them. This is one of the most important ones. It says, I know I'm respected when people treat me like I am important. People pay attention to me. People listen to me and look me in the eye. Look me in the eye is not an important one. Matter of fact, it's a bad idea in most cases. All right, it says, people don't interrupt me when I am talking. People don't try to finish my sentences. People care about what I think. That's how you know if you're being respected. The victim, when they're not being respected, it's easy to tell that they're not being respected. We already read this one, 10 Ways to Support Survivors. All right, this is from Marcus Ibarra. All right, this is Marcus Ibarra. I was letting him know about the situation with Jamie that was in Hood River. He said he would have a Wi-Fi hotspot for his work. I did try to communicate with him. This is my hospital paperwork. This is all stuff that I have to have my computer in here set up. Because of my physical disabilities, I might not be able to bring this in on another day, and I probably won't be able to. Healing model of compassion. Listen over and over with closed mouth. Over and over with closed mouth. Don't assume you know better or place expectations. But that's all people do. It says accept, believe the experience to be true. Don't instruct or interrogate. And none of y'all can follow that one. Not a single one of you. Empathize. Put yourself in their shoes. You guys are so busy telling me to put myself in your shoes. You never try to put yourself in mine. It says empathize. Put yourself in their shoes. Don't reject or criticize personal choice. Validate. Mirror back what you understand. Don't undermine or oppose, which is what all of you do. You want to talk over me and tell me it's not going to work. Oh, don't follow the law, it's not going to work. Blah, 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 blah. Don't go to a friend or family member. You got to do it alone. Here's a number, here's a number. That is undermining. That is opposing. Identify. Find your parallel experience without shifting the focus. It says don't deny voice or personhood. Let us speak. Let us have our voice instead of talking over it and undermining it. It says encourage, offer support on their path. Don't shun, place conditions, or ask others to join in double abuse. It says ask, how can I help? Don't withdraw or disconnect. Grieve with them for all they have lost. Don't deny, avoid, or suppress the healing power of mourning. Oppression. Domestic violence does not happen in a vacuum. Survivors often experience multiple forms of oppression or isms such as sexism, racism, classism, or heteronormativism. These isms can perpetuate gender-based violence, contribute to obstacles that survivors face, and have a significant impact on a survivor's ability to access safety and justice. Victim blaming. Abuse is never the victim's fault. As a society, we continue to place blame on victims by asking, what did she do to deserve that? Now, you notice that these are all very pointedly women as the victims and men as the predators. And we're going to try to avoid that because just because you're sexist pieces of crap doesn't mean I have to be. Anyway, it says, what did she do to deserve that? Or why was he on social media in the first place? Or why did she stay? Yet we do not ask these questions to victims of other crimes. We must stop asking these questions of survivors of domestic violence. Now we ask those questions of any man who has a crime committed against him. You all grill males who are victimized like that. Why do women get grilled? Because we have taught so many women to use their gender as a tool to harm others. Now let's take a look at the quantity of stuff that's in here. Come on. Things not to say to a survivor. Just get over it. The past is the past. You just need to move on. You need to forgive and forget about it. What happened to you is not that bad. It could be worse. You need to let it go. You're strong. You'll be fine. Life goes on. No, these things are not helpful. Those are things not to say to a survivor. You know, how there's too much. I don't have enough time to run through it all, and right now I'm having to depend entirely upon whether or not this little effort right here stays connected, which, no, not happening, obviously. So this is an opportunity for me to try to get this stuff done, but you notice how without help doing this, I'm just running around in circles for an hour worth of something that I can do. I'm running up and down the stairs and hurting myself, that's for sure. Is it self-harm for the purpose of harming myself? No, it's the fact that I am severely screwed up and people aren't understanding of that. Alright, so let's get to the help that I need. I need help with people to understand how much there is. Alright, let's just look through this part right here, okay? We can scroll down through this stuff all day. Screenshot after friggin' frozen up on me again, come on. Come on. Alright. So, yeah, this is a lot of evidence of threats, harassment, intimidation, people getting a hold of me and being jerks. There's even a few of them of me being a jerk back. There's lots of video evidence of a lot of the things that people were doing, a lot of the bullying that people were doing. A lot of this stuff is from a while ago. Like this is January 2021. This is while I was at Ventus Cossize. There's quite a bit of stuff in here about the abuse in Colorado against him and myself. He never tried sharing my story, but I certainly shared his. There's probably 3 or 4 of these videos where you can hear Stephanie Mejia cheating on her husband with Ventus as well. Most of these are from people after the fact who wanted to threaten, harass, and intimidate me. This is a lot of stuff with a lot of different witnesses to many of the situations, the harassment, the hazing, the physical abuse, a lot of the stuff that women were posting up that was completely sexist and rude and inconsiderate. But I mean, it goes way back. You know, it's got, let's see, this video and this one, I believe, are these 4 right here, 12:9 to 12:10. Situations with Scott Acosta. These ones here, these ones are the ones, I believe on the 16th, so that would be up here. Anyway, I can scroll through this all day long. This thing right here doesn't hardly move. And we can scroll down through a lot of stuff that was sent, threats, harassment, and intimidation by others. The problem is there is so much of it. Oh God, we're not even that far down. I mean, we're October of 2020. A lot of people doing this trap on the internet. There's also me being a jerk back. Eventually, I get to that point. Trying to get people to leave while they just want to play victim because I asked them to leave, later told them to leave. So I mean, the sheer quantity of this that I have to go through is obviously it's not going to be happening today. Lots of where I was at, who was involved, who I contacted, conversations with others about the situation, people who pretended like they were going to help me from all over the world. Then there's missing people scattered throughout here. I mean, everywhere that I went, I had to deal with this, deal with the fact that I have to scrunch in 6 years worth of abuse into just an hour or two, and there's no way possible. There's just too much of it. I could literally scroll down through this for a whole hour and get absolutely nowhere. There's also Ventus and Beatrice. A lot of these are just audio files. Here's some stuff with Zach. These are audio files. Mostly audio files. Let's see how many are in this one. The help that I need is for somebody to understand how much of this there really is. All right, this is just one file that's at the forefront because it's got some important stuff in it, but none of it's titled. I don't have the ability to go through it or the time to go through it, and I can't carry my stuff in and out of this building every day. It's not possible. Also, they're gonna give me one more day where I can sit down for the whole day and try to work on this. The problem is that I don't have any help going through any of this or processing it. There's no way possible for somebody to be able to do this in my position. There's also the reasons that I'm not able to do it, the reason that my resources were cut off. I do want to show you, this one's called Tillamook, Oregon. I'm going to open it up. This is the most recent one I was able to pop up there. It tells you how long each of them are. Like this one right here is 2 hours and 23 minutes, 17 seconds. Oh, the main files. I should probably show that too. All right. Let's do. Yeah, we'll do that one, I guess. There's a lot of them, though. I mean, there's literally thousands of these files that need to be gone through. What I need people to do is explain that I'm being abused and that there's too much of it for me to possibly go through. That doesn't mean that I'm a liar or a bad person. That ain't it. Come on, where's the Tillamook one? Oh, here it is. Now this one is just primarily audio files. Now if you look at how many there are, it's Christian, the Denny's manager, Denny's lady at Tillamook, Mike, a solution of sorts, Mike, Tillamook, and being friendly. We'll open this one up. This is second Tillamook. This is just one of the files here. And each one of these has individual files as well. Look at this one. It has quite a few of them in there, but there's a lot more. How about this one? And some of these are up to 7-8 hours long. When I say I've got the evidence, I absolutely do, but there's a lot of stuff in here. Go to the next one. This is from the day that Jason Scudder came up here with me. Telework 4. Oregon Ombudsman, Vicky Rain. Let's see, what's this one? Let's see how many are in here. Open. There's 5 of them just in that one. I believe there's only 2 or 3 in this one. We'll see. They're organized according to day, so that at least I have that much. And some of them I was able to title, but I mean, there's a lot of it. Everywhere I go, I collect this stuff. See, obviously there's more. Here's, open this one up. Only a couple of them in that one. Let's see, all Hood River, Oregon. We'll open that one up. I spent a lot of time in Hood River. This is a pretty important one. There's also a bunch of them scattered all throughout this that all still need to be organized. That's what I was trying to work on. But the problem is I don't have enough time or the resources to do these things that people in houses take for granted. I don't have assistants doing that. As far as Adult Protective Services goes, you can help to collect this stuff from the different times that I was going through this and help to coordinate with me. You can also correspond with me through email. I did send you my email address, I'm pretty sure. As far as having me talk to an agency or having an agency call for me, that doesn't work. It has to be a civilian, not somebody who works for an agency. When we're sent to an agency, we need a friend or family member to advocate, or we're talked over, not people telling us, oh, well, Sean needs an advocate, and then that's the end of it. No, you have to get them started on the process so that I don't be getting the mentally ill treatment. As far as calling newspapers and letting them know what's up, getting friends or family involved, anybody that might listen, help to collect the evidence of the things that were said to me. There's a lot of stuff on my YouTube channel where I'm talking with actual witnesses. If you could try to collect as many of those in a file, and then the police phone calls in a file, and the FBI phone calls in a file, and try to take the stuff that's on YouTube and compile it. But for the most part, it's a matter of when somebody's called mentally ill, you have to go in with them. You have to explain it with them. So a lot of the stuff where police officers kept on changing the rules, I need help finding the names and the dates. The name of the officers who were involved and some of the dates that things happened. I can do some of that myself, but it's difficult doing it over my phone. I don't have a place to set up my computer permanent so it's all based on how messed up my body feels on any particular day. I'm gonna go out to my car now, and I'm gonna also go use the bathroom. Things ain't easy. I hear stuff like that a lot. One of the best things you can do is actually listen. There's a lot of details that I gotta be able to make a call with somebody privately, and I have to be able to trust that they're not gonna use that to harm me. I'm gonna show you how many videos are on my channel. It says 1.33 thousand subscribers, 6.3 thousand videos. The This is the video I'm making right now, not another mean Canadian hoping for help. Yeah, it's pretty significant. Quite a lot. The conditions that I live in as well, like my car, abhorrent. Basically, I'm trying to get people to understand how much of it there really is. Here's Deputy Holloway in Chapel. It says posted up 5 months ago. It was posted up 5 months ago. It was something that was not recorded live. It was recorded not live.
Hello, Meg. I'm here with Officer Holloway.
Right, here's one of the occasions where I literally had to force this.
Yeah, you must vacate the premises by the September 25th.
However, you really did come to the wrong department. It's 30 days normally.
All right, here we go.
Says something about the situation.
Okay. Stood somewhere.
He was telling me I was allowed back up
Says
there, and I had to
that
explain
I
to him that that's not
am a
okay.
victim.
Oh, yeah.
It's 30 days normally, but it's 3 days if there's a crime committed. And I already admitted to the crime.
Yeah, you must vacate the premises by the September 25th.
However, you really did come to the wrong department.
Okay.
Came to the wrong town and decided to work for the wrong guy. Hello, Meg. I'm here with Officer Holloway.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. What did you say about Officer Holloway?
I said I am here with Officer Holloway. You are being recorded, of course. Is the camera on?
Yep, my camera's on.
Yep, his camera's on.
Did you record the course back?
Well, can you verify at least that I tried to get a hold of you about the abuse last week?
Yes, you did.
Thank you, ma'am, and you may call me back.
Thank you.
Bye. Since I can't go to you, I have to go to other people. Other people don't do what it is that I need to protect myself. I have to do drastic things.
Okay.
Every single law that I broke is because you guys can't or won't do your jobs.
Somebody here, okay?
Now, I personally don't blame you for any of the things that the officers who came before you did. However, calling somebody mentally ill, trying to make them as bipolar or schizophrenic in order to get away with their crimes is not acceptable.
Okay.
And with my advocate, I got that advocate. Why? Do you remember? Were you there that day?
I think I was. It was a while ago.
And why did I need an advocate?
What was it? Because you needed somebody to work with you and work with law enforcement to try to get this resolved.
Yes, and she's not working with law enforcement. She's not calling you guys, is she?
Not that I'm aware of.
Meg Missigatis was aware that was what the situation was right from the start. The thing is, when she wanted to keep on talking about herself and then getting angry with me for trying to get her back on topic, her back on focus. One of the things that we talk about is that, for example, the cops claim that they didn't have Megan Missigatis' number, except that they're the ones that hooked me up with Megan Missigatis. But also, I have to go through literally thousands of recordings in order to find this stuff. Literally thousands of them. So I do need somebody to help go through at least some of the ones online. I need somebody to explain that I am telling the truth, that the abuse does exist. That when I say that I did go to police, and that I did admit to my crimes, and that I only committed a matter of necessity, that's absolutely true stuff. The problem is that I'm having to go in alone. People are not going in with them for my safety. They're not being aware of what the laws are, and I really have to pee. Anyway,
Hi, how are you?
what I need is someone to help me to organize the evidence and help me to get it turned in. As far as having a safe place goes, there's no such thing. I need people to listen to the situations and why it is that I've been cut off from resources, and also what laws it took in order to get that to happen. There's a lot of stuff here with different agencies that I have recorded, the people who work there, and I need somebody to help me to go through and basically establish the timeline of who I talked to and when. I need somebody to explain that I am not capable of doing this and that this is cruel and unusual fucking punishment. Just because I'm smart doesn't mean that my disabilities magically melt away. Just because I'm disabled doesn't mean that I'm mentally fucking retarded. And I need someone to understand that I'm easy to overwhelm. That's not okay. It's not okay for people to have that easy out, that free win, just because they can overwhelm me, pretend I'm on drugs, slander my name, claim that I must be schizophrenic or delusional. But you also get to see that things that I'm being called schizophrenic and delusional for by police officers are events that actually happened with people that actually happened, evidence that actually exists, screenshots of, well, pretty obviously something other than absolutely nothing. If it were a delusion, there wouldn't be any screenshots. If it were delusions, you wouldn't see none of that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I need help with, and people are not going to be able to help with a lot of it. But what you can help with is speaking up, sharing the videos that you find. You could send me a couple of emails. If you send me the emails, then I can send you emails of actual evidence from Natalie Bollinger herself, from her actual email address. See, I got a lot of evidence that is also from the courts, from my public pretenders. It shows how hard I tried to get them to listen. And they're all empty. Alright, I got
down on my
knees to try to get a tobacco stick. If they're empty doesn't mean that I can just leave them there. I might as well pick them up instead of being a jerk. And I need someone to help explain how much there is, what it's like being in a state of crisis. I need people to understand that the expenses that I'm having to pay and the help that people provided. No, not when people force help on me that I don't need or that is going to make things worse. And when I'm stuck in a subservient environment, I have to do what those people say, or they get very angry and very irate, especially people who are alcoholics or on drugs. So I need people to help me to turn in what's on my YouTube channel by admitting that it exists. Alright, I don't know who Daniel Brown is. Seems to me he's just trolling. He typed, ugly young steam mate, it's not thumbs up, it's not good when people be like you. Alright, dude, I don't know what the hell you're rattling on about. The thing is, I'm overwhelmed. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to maintain my physical health to the best of my abilities, my mental health to the best of my abilities. I need people to explain what this is really like. You know, I need people to actually go through the conversations and actually listen to them instead of saying, oh, well, I'm going to in 6 months or 6 years. I need people to actively work with me so that I don't have to post it up on YouTube and Facebook. See, that's the thing about every one of these people who are on YouTube and Facebook. There was always another way. The people who wanted to threaten to kill me and threaten to kill my friends and family, you know, they could have called me up and talked to me like a human being, asked what's going on and how they could help. This has been going on since 2015, with the police harming me over and over again because I can't defend myself. I screwed up my back in 2015. The financial situation that I've been forced into and being forced to do the jobs of so-called professionals while they send me around on wild goose chases. There's a lot of evidence of it. The problem is that I can't process it. I'm fucking homeless. I had housing before Natalie died, but with all of the different services I was being sent to in Nebraska, telling me I need to go to the Front Range of Colorado, I went to the Front Range of Colorado. Had to stay with a couple of drug dealers so that I could jump through all the hoops that they expected me to jump through to turn in Natalie Bollinger and her friends and family before she was killed. I got to the point where I didn't have the money to stay at Ken Wilson and Leah Plunkett's and still rent a place, low income in Chapel, Nebraska. I had to choose one or the other. I had no caseworker in Nebraska. Tamara had quit, so it was on to Colorado. The thing is that I am in a constant state of panic because I am never heard. I never get to have a place where I can just sit down in peace and quiet and work on this stuff. When I did have some peace and quiet in the housing after Natalie was killed, when I finally got back into housing. Well, it didn't matter because I was being taken advantage of by the people in housing and they were wiping each other's backsides. And that sucks for us. Now this Daniel Brown person, I think I'm gonna just block this user from this channel. That seems to be the most intelligent thing to do, or best thing to do with these predators. But I always take a screenshot first. I need people to understand that I am overwhelmed because of my environment.
Drugs don't fix this. Drugs don't stop this. Drugs don't make it so that at-risk adults aren't easy to railroad and just call mentally ill and pretend that they're schizophrenic. But for starters, I need people to understand that I am unsafe here and now because of law enforcement and because of the local drug use. Both. Obviously, the communication issue that I'm having is based on the environment that I'm in, based on having to run around without the resources, without the physical abilities, without the mental abilities, because of the environment that I'm stuck in. I can't turn off how your constant loud noises affect me. I can't turn that off. Medications don't turn that off. Threatening to kill me and my friends and family certainly doesn't turn that off. But that's what people keep wanting to try, is to abuse me into not turning people in. To abuse me into not speaking up. Pretend like if they're abusive enough, then magically, when I react to that abuse, I get treated like an animal. I need you to understand there's a lot of things that I can't say on YouTube or Facebook, and as a result, I have to generalize. There's also the sheer number of people who have been involved, and the number of people who said that they would help me who ended up being friends with my predators. And there's the number of wiggling nuts that I had to deal with because my friends and family didn't care. Well, hello. I don't know, dogs and kids love me. I think it's just because they're weird.
They are. Unfortunately, man.
You do have matching haircuts.
Everybody tells me the same thing. Well, she just follows me, I guess. Yeah, could be worse. I could have a pug could go like, "You look like your dog." It's like, well, thank you.
At least you're not bald.
Not yet. I'm getting there.
Mine too.
Oh, I don't want to say anything. I know it's a little spot.
There's a tiny spot right there. He's like,
The family with a little thin hair, so I'm worried. Thin hair.
will do. Obviously, I'm pretty scatterbrained. That's because there's so much of it. The events themselves aren't the problem. It's the fact that there's so many of them and so many people involved. I can't possibly remember every name and every instance. And then there's the fact that I'm shipped from place to place to place or run off everywhere that I go. The hell is that? Do not eat as that's good. It's probably one of them water things. Things that suck the water out of your crackers or whatever. Anyway, I'm sorry the video's so long, but like I said, I'm in a constant state of panic, a constant state of anxiety. I have to run around for, well, quite a bit to try to get just a little bit of time. Try to find somebody to help. That's what my whole fucking channel is about. My fucking friends are goddamn useless. The cops are fucking useless. Nobody cares. So I have to reach out to get somebody to care. Now it's 6 years worth of this. 7 years worth of this. Sorry. Now, like I said, it started in 2015 with me hurting my back, and that made it so the cops were relentless. 2016, that was when I went to visit Natalie and a lot of other people. 2017 is when she got her brains blown out. The abuse that I've been enduring, the stalking, the gang stalking, the threats and the harassment, it's been going on since before Natalie was killed. It's been going on since I was in Virginia over Natalie. The stuff from the cops started a year before that. Natalie got shot over a year after the bullshit with her started. Her ex-boyfriend Tim Beeson, just going through that stuff would take me an hour and a half easy. If I was to read it all without giving my own narrative or explaining what was going on, it'd still take a while. That's just from Tim Beeson, just 'cause there's so much of it. And as much as I am trying to do this, I am in a constant state of panic because I constantly have this deadline that is fucking impossible. Without a friend or family making the call with me. Don't pawn me off onto a government agency. Do it with the victim. Because other than that, all it results in them doing is getting blown off time and again. Over and over and over. And over and over and over and over and over and over. Instead of typing at me that you understand, help to explain to these people that what they're doing is wrong. Of course, they already know that, don't they? If they didn't know what they were doing was wrong, they wouldn't have invested so much in trying to shut me up. If you send me an email address, I can start sending you evidence. You can help me to turn it in. You can help me to send it to where it needs to go. A lot of the stuff that you're asking me what you can do, I've answered that many times before to people, and they've just never gotten back a hold of me, or they promised that they're gonna, but there's always something going on. The problem is that all the somethings that they got going on are important. If they're just pretending that those things happened, that's important. Because the thing is, I had to make decisions based on the information that I had to hand. And what information that I had to work with. Then there's my technological disabilities that everybody wants to prey on. I mean, that's probably the biggest oops that anybody had to deal with me. Is, yeah, you just took my money to tell me to do something that I literally paid you to help me with. I didn't pay you to tell me what to do. I paid for actual help. Explaining, how expensive it is to do this. And how we're treated like junkies by the fucking cops. We're treated like junkies at the hospital. They don't care if you're on drugs or not. They're just going to assume and write it down. Gives them more money. So I need some folks who are willing to actually talk to me like I'm a human being and actually listen, because that's important. Listening is the most important thing you can do. Because if you listen, then you understand their situation, not just, oh, I understand. Every time you tell somebody that you understand, you're showing that you don't. The most important thing for the victim is to listen to them. When you try to turn it in, make sure that you turn it in with them. And the agencies that you're calling need to follow protocol when it comes to abuse against an at-risk adult. My disabilities aren't a choice, and it is not okay that literally everyone is allowed to exploit my disabilities and pretend that I chose it because I'm intelligent. You deny me the rights to turn in my predators by calling me mentally ill, giving me a whole bunch of sexism because, of course, I have a penis, so I could never possibly be a victim And I'm ugly, so I must be a predator. I need people to point out the fact that things that I've been saying and been called crazy for saying, well, police officers and many other people who are so-called professionals have said the same things. None of these professionals should be taking your money for jobs they're not doing. And if they're mandated reporters and they're taking your Medicare and Medicaid money and setting you up for therapy, they're not doing their jobs as mandated reporters, which is why I need help turning in literally every mandated reporter. There's a video called Jamie Again. In the first 30 seconds of that video, Jamie gets punched in the head. She's an at-risk and disabled adult, and the guy's excuse is that he's her brother, and that, what was the other one? Not everybody out there is mental. So, if you call somebody mental, it makes it okay to beat on them? Is that what he's saying? Obviously, at this point, there is too much and it's too complex for me to try to explain in a video, especially when I am in a constant state of panic and a constant state of rush. When you are rushed to do a bunch of stuff that you can't possibly do for yourself, you're not capable. You need someone to call up and explain, hey, he's not capable, he needs help, and you need to stop sending him around in circles. Stop pushing the housing thing when he's harmed. Because your job as a mandated reporter is to help turn it in immediately. I encourage you to go to all the 988 lines that I've called. I've posted up a lot of them. Help to show that. Help to show the stuff with Natalie. The conversations between her and I. Help to show that I'm being harmed over slander. And that it's actual harm. Forcing me into this position. I can't take care of myself, and my disability money, which is supposed to be going to taking care of myself, isn't gone to take care of myself. It's gone to run around in circles for places that are supposed to help me to take care of myself and defend myself from predators, and instead they're showing themselves to be predators. The thing is, no matter who I tell you to call, you'd have to call them with me. It would have to be recorded for our safety. Now that lady, Cora Bowers, that's what it was. She's in Canada. You can help turn her in. I'm sorry this is such a long video. I'm sorry I'm overwhelmed, and it's time for me to go clean everything up there. Not much I can do about it. You see how hard it was to get a room for a full day, and to not have a friend or family member to help me with any of this, to have to run around like a chicken with my head cut off with... And look how much time I've spent on YouTube today speaking about the situations. I need you to look at the things that were said about me in court. And look at the evidence that shows that it's bullshit. That they intentionally misled the situation. That I have been repeatedly harmed. I need help calling these lawyers. Someone to call with me. With me and explain the safety situation. Explain that I'm harmed to the point that I want my life to end. And rather than doing something about the people who are harming me, instead, I'm locked up. The police tell the hospitals to inject me with drugs. The hospitals will inject me with drugs. They tell the hospital that I'm schizophrenic. The hospital just writes it down, even though it takes 6 months to diagnose schizophrenia. Meanwhile, I have a diagnosis of autism. I have a diagnosis of PTSD. When you're homeless, everybody wants to shortchange you and just not do their jobs. The point here is that I'm not just disabled, I'm also homeless. I'm not just homeless, I'm also a male. All of these things make me less likely to be heard and more likely to be victimized by law enforcement. And so I needed to explain that I need a place where I can sit down with my evidence, and that all of my ability to do those things was taken away because of slander. That I was illegally prevented from going to my court dates. That the people who were supposed to protect me repeatedly did not show up. And that there is a YouTube channel and multiple computers full of evidence of this. There's also plenty of evidence that shows that I tried to get help, that the police lied and claimed that I didn't try to get help. They sold their own narrative so that they could save their own bacon. Unfortunately, the abuse that I endure nationwide, being forced to move over and over again with police, able to do whatever they want, allowed to slander our names, and see to it that we are harmed. Forcing us to post these things on the internet. As an at-risk adult, having to post up the way that we are treated by the mandated reporters, how inhumanely we are treated, how we are used like cattle to make a profit. How none of these places would work together, which is something that a family member can do. They can make the calls with me. They can show some actual initiative instead of blowing me off every single time, telling me they're too busy. Well, you shouldn't have promised if you weren't going to keep your word. You shouldn't have accepted my money if you weren't going to do the work. And if life happened, then you can speak up about that, because you not speaking up results in more harm against me. You see how dehumanizing it is to try to do this. There's somebody who's going to help me to turn it in right away. I will send you crime after crime after crime, evidence of crime after crime after crime, against myself and others. But if you can't tell these people the same things that you recognize are happening, or you want to do it alone and have no evidence, then I got to try to subpoena people to court. I can't subpoena somebody from Canada. But you can verify a lot of things, like that some of those people are in fact Canadian, that they do still make these Natalie Bollinger things, that they are all over the place, that they do make them. There's even some that are recent in foreign languages. Oh, Patch the Cat is on here. Cool. Hey, Patch the Cat. Patch type, damn, the odds are so unfairly stacked against you for sure. Need to try to do some research on a lawyer who would take on your case potentially pro bono. Definitely have an urgent case. There's no such thing. That's the problem, is that it's not researching one that will do it pro bono. It's making the calls with me and telling them that these things are happening. Explaining that it is very real. Otherwise, I'm going to get blown off. That's how the mentally ill tag is played. They call you mentally ill and pretend that you're a schizophrenic, delusional loser who couldn't take no for an answer. Lawyers don't take pro bono cases for poor people. Not when they're homeless. If they do, it's because they were court ordered to. Before you can get a pro bono lawyer, it starts with a friend or family member recognizing that you are being abused and speaking up and stating it loudly and clearly, as it is the truth. The problem is, while people are wanting to send me to pro bono lawyers and tell me that they'll have somebody else call for me, what is missing, and what has been missing since day one, is civilian oversight. People who are going to, well, when the cops start speaking up and saying a false narrative or speaking over me for any reason, I need somebody there to, well, they're obviously having attention deficit issues. I need someone to bring them back to reality. When they try to change the subject, I need somebody to interrupt them and say, hey, it's not okay to change the subject. He is telling you about abuse and you do need to take it seriously. The problem is when people are trying to pawn me off on others, that tends to not be taken seriously. With a lot of people, like literally hundreds of people who said they would help me, said they would share the info, what I end up doing is investing a lot of time into finding a place where I can send them the evidence with them appropriately. But instead, it's a bunch of no-shows, just like it is with the public pretenders. Just like it is when these drug addicts don't show up. Let's see, this message held for review. Show. I don't think it's gonna let it show. It says, Patch the Cat type. Oh shit, that sucks. I thought there may have still been hope for one of those lawyers out there. There is, but you have to make the call with me. You're missing the point. It's not that it's hopeless, it's that you have to make the call with me. And you have to tell them that I am at risk. And why? You have to take it seriously. Which is very difficult because a lot of people, what they know how to do is send you in circles because that's what's been done to them. They're just doing what it is that they've been taught. Not a personal insult. Anyway, Patch the Cat typed, oh shit, that sucks. Still been a hope for one of those lawyers out there. But yeah, you're right, these days it's like non-existent that they will do it out of their own accord. Patch the Cat typed, yes, huge problem of people talking over you. Really wish I was not in another country. It doesn't matter if you're in another country. See, that's one of the things that people aren't recognizing. It doesn't matter if you're in another country. You can turn it in from anywhere. You just have to turn it into people here in the United States as far as the crimes that were committed here. And as far as the crimes that were committed in Canada, well, those do need to be turned in there. Let's see. Patch the Cat also typed, I would have no problem going in with you and speaking up when they do that. Well, the problem is that it needs to happen now. None of these services are going to take it seriously unless it makes the call with me now. Instead of, oh, once you have everything set up. No, they're not going to set up anything without civilian oversight, without someone who cares actually speaking up and being pissed. I gotta get a cart so I can take my stuff down. Patch the Cat type. Okay, yeah, I get you. Heads up. Could I get one of the carts so I could take my stuff down?
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Let me go find one for you upstairs.
Thank you all for being so pleasant.
Yeah, no, it's not right there for.
All right. Anyway, Patch the Cat typed, okay, yeah, I get you. Had thought first that you meant that even with an advocate, no lawyers will work pro bono anyway. Sorry, this is limiting my characters typed. I get that.
Thanks, that's not making my head.
Yeah, a lot of people, they have a
In color. Okay, I think it did come through.
Okay.
Right here.
That should be
Came
two
through 3
separate.
times now.
Yeah, no, it should be two separate things that I'm finding.
Okay, so it's one,
It should be.
one is $4.50 and one is $9. Is that something right? I mean, I don't know how many pages it is, but.
Patch the Cat typed, oh, it keeps dropping out your video on me. I may have to wait until the live is over and watch it then. That's when I'm over by the elevator, it does that. The thing is, I need people to explain how much there is. I need people to try to understand autism from our point of view instead of from our predators like Autism Speaks.
Okay.
I I gotta get my stuff out of here now, take it downstairs, and hopefully make it over to where the food is.
And it should be printing right now over on the Xerox machine. You see this side?
Yes, ma'am. Anyway, as far as being in another country goes, you can literally turn this stuff in from any country. That's one of the things about all the mandated reporters who are in the Natalie Bollinger groups. Women who are nurses and social workers and stuff were getting on there and being very hateful. Had a lot of people that were pretending to be professionals, pretending to be advocates. You're supposed to help them to turn it in right away. That way they're not thrown off or brushed off by the police or any of these services. If you don't make the calls with them, then all of these services send you in a circle. If you've got a friend or family member who cares and is paying attention, then you don't end up getting sent around in circles. The buck stops where you decide it stops. When you say, hey, this is a situation that is unsafe, he is unsafe, he does have plenty of evidence of threats and harassment and assaults against him and his friends and family, and plenty of evidence that the services he's sent to are taking advantage of him financially. It's not difficult. That's easy to prove. It's all over my Facebook.
Here's your 50 cents. Sorry.
My disabilities are documented, and I've shown proof of them on Facebook. Did I get into room number 2?
Room 2? Sure. Go over there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Do you have a room available? A couple hours that we can use? I'm sorry, I've gotten really busy. Can you call me back? Okay. That'd be good. So my room is
Just with the stuff from Tillamook, Oregon alone, it's over 8 months, almost 9 months, I believe, of me being sent around, wasting all of my money to go to a bunch of services that don't do anything. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to help to explain that these services, even knowing that I'm going to them as mandated reporters, are breaking the law to protect their friends from trouble. If these people are going to be professionals, then they have to do a professional job, and they need to actually listen to the victims. Nicole Vertner. She works at Tillamook Benefit. I need to turn in an assault that happened there on January 28th. And that's something that you can make a call with a lawyer to me with, and explain at least part of what else is going on, and explain that there is cameras in that hospital, and that no matter what they try to tell, the fact is that the cameras show they were getting physically violent with me, and that I made zero attempt to get violent back. When it comes to assault, I don't have to prove what was said or what wasn't. The video evidence itself will show the actual assault. It'll show the bullying. It'll show that I was trying my best to remain calm, and I did a great job. Also, I want you to look something up.
You see this? It says Clearview Behavioral Health. 4770 Larimer Parkway, Johnstown, Colorado, 80534. Why don't you look them up and find out what they're famous for? They're shut down, by the way. They changed their name to Johnstown Behavioral Health, and they're in trouble for that now. Not for changing their name, but for doing the same things. I was at Clearview Behavioral Health. They got in trouble for keeping people longer than they should have to take their Medicare and Medicaid money, and for injecting people with drugs at the request of police officers, just like Elijah McClain. They did that to Tibor Hatay. They did that to me. Of course, I got lucky. The Haldol and Ativan concoction that they've been giving people, it literally kills us. It kills a lot of people every year. Obviously, I've brought a full stack of papers here to try to show, but it's too much. I'm sorry it's such a long video and that I wasn't able to put any of the details in that I wanted to, but like I said, I'm gonna stay panicked. I'm also having to watch my P's and Q's so I don't get in trouble for posting up something that's protected. I do make sure that I know rules about what is protected and what's not. But then again, it's an algorithm. You never know when they're going to change the algorithm. By they, I mean if you're on YouTube, YouTube's algorithm, or Facebook, Facebook's algorithm. There's a lot of people who take advantage of me because they know that they can. They know that they can call me mentally ill and get away with it. They can pretend that people like Joanna Taylor Smith don't exist, that the conversations between Natalie and I don't exist. People like Kara Johnson Miles, who were obviously not autism advocates, but pretended to be. Many, many others who were mandated reporters that I went to that made zero effort to help turn it in. We were sent to mental health, and instead of mental health helping us turn it in like it's legally their obligation, what do? They send us around in circles, and then they bill us for therapy. Over and over and over again. What time is it now? 3:59. The food starts at 4:30. Shit. HP protection status. As a courtesy notice, availability for repair or replacement parts and services may no longer be available after 4/29/2023. Obviously, the majority of this video is me having communication issues. The one called Deputy Holloway and the one called Deputy Holloway 1. Those are with Deputy Holloway and Meg Misigatis. When this is how it had to happen every time, is that I literally had to call her once the cops got there. I had to wait for the cops to get there, and then I had to call her while the cops were there and present. Otherwise, she was going to make some excuse. No matter what, she wasn't being a go-between. She was making me be the go-between. Meanwhile, I'm the one called mentally ill. She gets to prey on the fact that she can call me mentally ill, and the cops get to pretend that too. What does that result in? It results in the victim being blown off. Many of my predators worked together for literally years. Like Scott DaCosta started protecting his deputies as soon as Natalie disappeared. Well, as soon as they realized that Dual County deputies were involved in gaslighting me and blowing me off instead of doing their jobs as mandated reporters. They also helped a lot of people in Chapel, Nebraska get away with harming me, people like Chris Kurth. I'm tired of having to post up a little bit at a time what I'm able and capable of on YouTube, because I have nobody to help me turn stuff in person. There's a lot of people who promise that they're gonna help that just never get back a hold of me, or they only magically can get a hold of me when I'm on a Facebook ban or things of that nature. Then there's, of course, Facebook's algorithms. When you're bullied to the point that you want your life to end, when you are begging to end your life because your life sucks that much, and then what do? They cut you off from typing in chat or in Messenger, and then they give you the option of getting a hold of a friend or suicide hotline. Well, they're not going to let you get a hold of a friend because they already cut you off from the chat. Now, this is one of the things that my predator's been doing since the very start, just trying to pretend everything I say is a lie or it's a threat against people's life. There's only 2 times in all of this that I ever threatened anyone's life. One of them after my grandma's funeral, to try to get a court date against the Bollingers, and another one in August of 2018. After nearly 2 years of abuse over the situation with Natalie Bollinger. All because she was too embarrassed to tell the truth.